That mean Obama had to know?
Well, Sean, what I'm saying is not that the president sits there and directs that there be counterintelligence investigations. What I'm saying is that unlike criminal investigations, counterintelligence investigations are done for the president. The only reason to do them is to inform the president with the information he needs to protect the United States from foreign threats. They're not like criminal investigations in that regard. So, in principle, the information from a counterintelligence investigation is for the president. And here, we know at various junctures we have actual factual information that this investigation was well known to President Obama.
Okay, so if he knew, and this is all happening, he had to know about it from the get-go. Doesn't that also imply that he would have been updated on this if he's the one that needs it for national security decision-making?
Sean, if things were working properly, the president should have been alerted about it and informed about it. It was a very important investigation. If they actually believed what they were telling the court, that it was a possibility that Donald Trump was actually a plant of the Kremlin, it would have been derelict on their part not to keep the president informed.
You know, Sarah, as we now have been able to unpeel the layers of the onion, it now goes right into the office of then President Obama. Nobody's asked President Obama, what did you know, when did you know it? Are we at that critical juncture where that now will have to become a question that is asked, perhaps under oath?
Absolutely. President Obama should answer these questions. Remember, Sean, this is about the weaponization of the intelligence community. I go back to the very beginning with the unmaskings. This was a counterintelligence investigation. Just as Andy McCarthy has stated, it wasn't a criminal investigation. And as Andy McCarthy stated, as we've stated before, if they believed President Trump, as they stated, was a Manchurian candidate, the president of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, would have been informed of this by John Brennan, by James Clapper, by others within the intelligence apparatus. This was so important, and this is such a linchpin right now. All you have to do is look back at some of the text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, the FBI special agent and his lover lawyer, and how they talked about, he wants to be informed. They tried to explain that away as it wasn't President Obama, but we know better than that. Also, look at some of the emails that Susan Rice sent to herself. She sent emails to herself in January before they left office.
She did it on Inauguration Day, didn't she?
That's right.
In the Oval Office.
Right.
As Trump, I would call them CYAs. Very good points.
That's right.
Andy, you work for the Southern District of New York, probably the most prestigious prosecutorial group ever assembled. They're tough. Great lawyers like yourself came out of there, Rudy, and people on the other side of the political spectrum. But you were able to get a conviction in the Blind Shake case and the first Trade Center bombing. My question to you is there any way we can get to the full truth without interviewing or interrogating or asking Barack Obama what he knew and when he knew it?
Well, I think, Sean, that's probably the last thing that you would want to do. You want to get all of the other information. Just like we said when the issue of interviewing President Trump came up in the investigation, you have to be able, if you want to interview the President of the United States, you should have to be able to show, well, but we're talking about activities that happened when he was president and that he still has some privilege with respect to under American law.
Why would I suspect he won't be as forthcoming as Donald Trump? Just guessing.
Let's see what happens. We got a couple of investigations
Trump never invoked executive privilege. He handed over 1.5 million documents.
That's right.
He asked everybody in the White House to testify before congressional committees and the special counsel. He didn't deny access. Even the White House counsel, which I thought was insane. Don McGahn got 30 hours before, the Weissman team, apparently, that was running that place and all the Democratic donors. All right. Thank you both. We're going to follow Sarah and Andy. Now, what happened in 2016 as we follow this story, and John's right, this is now what we're going to have revealed step by step, day by day throughout the fall. Now, seemingly all this done at the direction, if you listen to what Andy's saying, can't have a counter-intel investigation unless the Obama-Biden administration. Well, in fact, that would represent the biggest abuse of power scandal in American political history because they wanted to impact the outcome of an election. They spied in multiple ways overseas and through the FISA process by premeditated fraud on the FISA court. Now, naturally, you would think that one of the oldest and most established newspapers in the country